Okay, so where we left off last, I powered on and the subwoofers weren't working. Why? I have no idea. The only thing that I did notice that I'm not too sure about, that I actually didn't check, that the connector coming out of here, the polarity is backwards. So I don't know if you can see that, but you see the positive, the black comes out, the negative, the red comes out. So I'm not 100% sure about that still, but everything seems to work. The subwoofers, I set the speakers in, the ones that go on the back of the cage. Everything works functionally. I have the antenna wire that I still want to probably run, but the main concern right now is I was gonna redo this entire fuse box, but it's gonna be too much of a pain in the butt for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just extending the wires. I tried to find another spot for it to run. I was thinking about putting it up against that firewall, but the problem is the screws, they poke through the outside right here, and I really don't want that. That just kind of look like crap. So I figure I'm just going to bolt it to the outside of the cover again, just like this. It's going to sit just like that on the, it's just going to sit lower. And call it a day. So I still have to fix, there's a few more wires up here I have to reconnect. Not right here, but there, I just had them. These three, there's a red one. Boo! There's a red one right here inside. So those three, I have to reconnect them to those. So I think I'll do that right now. Get that out of the way. And then we will move on. I have to rewire the relay. Unfortunately, I don't have another pigtail. I thought I did. I have them at work. I know I have at least, I think 2. I might have 4. But that's exactly where they need to be, you know, when you need them. So we're just gonna fix this wiring up here. Luckily I have actually pretty much the same thickness, maybe a little thicker wire, so that's okay. But I just want to get this fixed first before we start up top. We'll do this, fix these 3, we'll fix the relay, and then I'll start going through cleaning up all the wiring, making it look nice, and then I have to figure out where I'm going to put the antenna for the satellite radio. I wanted to put it on the roof. The problem is it's magnetic. The roof is fiberglass. It would sit on the cage just fine, but I don't have nowhere. I don't really want to drill a hole because there's already wiring in here. I don't want to hit no wires, and it's just more, I think, more work than it really needs to be. So I think for now I'm just going to run it up on top the shock tower up top, and just double side tape it up there. It's gonna have a clear view of the sky. It'll be perfectly fine up there. I think that's just for the best right now. So we'll make these little jumper harnesses real quick. And yeah, once we get these 2 wires fixed, the antenna, then we're back together. I say that, you know, there's still a lot more work to do. Obviously putting everything back together is going to be quite time consuming, but we'll get it. And the dome light works now too. Ever since I reconnected the fuse box, it started to work. Now I don't know if these wires up here are hot. I don't know what they do. You know what, they probably go to that whip light or the whip switch. So I'm just playing it safe. I'm only gonna do one at a time because I really don't want to damage anything, you know, short out a fuse or something. I think I already popped 1 fuse. I thought I did, but you know, I guess I was wrong. But this system is very loud. It sounds really good. I'm actually quite excited to get it all back together so I can actually listen to it. The only thing I won't be able to really put back together, I think, is the passenger seat. Because like I said earlier, I'm still waiting on the whip stuff from 5150, and I don't know if I'm going to be getting it in time. So I think we'll just be playing that by ear for right now. If I get it, then I can at least install it. If I don't get it, then I'll deal with it when I get back. Yeah, and I already have 6-foot whips. I got them when I bought it. I bought this from Burt's. So these have remote controls. They're not bad. I just want ones that go with the music. You know, I figure I'm tearing into the car this much, I might as well go to town and do all the lights and crazy stuff that I wanted. But if I don't get them, there's nothing I can do about that. I'll send them a message on Monday and see if I can get an updated timeline. You know, Then I know it's not going to be, I'm not installing them the weekend before we leave, because I think it's just going to be a lot of work. And I want to maybe take it out before we go, because I did put that alternator on there, and I want to make sure that that's going to be good. Or, I mean, I was playing the music really loud earlier with that alternator. You could smell the alternator starting to work, which is good, but I didn't have no voltage problems whatsoever. It was cranking, and it was perfect. It's just like it should be. You know, no, I think the lowest I saw was like 13.9, and I had the system maxed out with the subwoofers almost all the way up, with all the speakers hooked up. None of the lights were on though, but you know, that system has a 100 amp fuse, so I don't know what it actually draws. I can't imagine it drawing 100 amps. I really can't. That's a lot of power. But I'll bring home I have an amp clamp at home, or at work I have one. I can bring it and we can monitor the actual load. Or maybe I'll go grab it. Maybe I'll grab it and then we can do some more testing, because I may need it. I may need some tools from work. Definitely, I personally believe the system was worth the money after hearing it in my garage. I need to, once I get all the speakers mounted, I'm going to pull it outside and crank it up and see what it really sounds like. I know you're not supposed to put direct flame on these, but you know, it works fine for me. As long as you don't burn the wire. You just don't be stupid with it sitting there trying to fry it. And then you just let them cool before you touch them, or else you burn your hands. So we have a bunch of wires for the switch. I took pictures of it, so that should be about it. That's all I see up here. This yellow right here was a straggler from before, so I'm not too concerned about that. But we'll probably cut them about right there. And I just want to cut one at a time. I don't know what they do. And I'm using for like house electrical, because all my tools, see, that's dumb, should always do one at a time. I'm getting ahead of myself now, but I'm using home, you know, it's for house wire. And I think you can see where I got a little crazy and I cut a live wire because I didn't know what it was, and now I have one of those non-contact beeping testers because of that. And these ones are my junk pair. I have a new pair. I think they're Klein. Very, very nice for doing stuff around the house. No, but you know, like, wiring is really, really easy to do. You know, so a lot of people have problems with it, but it's really not bad. The trick is you just have to understand how everything works. You know, like, I'm gonna assume these are for the switch for the actual lights on the whip lights. So this is going to be the ground for the switch. The reason why the switch needs a ground is because it's backlit. So when you turn on, it lights up. And so I'm assuming this is going to be the ground. This is going to be the power feed to it, or this one. You know, you can't really tell. But one of them has to be the feed, obviously, to run the light inside the switch. If you pull the switch out, you can tell, because it'll be jumped over into the light side of it. You know, that's why this one has a jumped ground on it, is for the light side. But, you know, that's the one thing, you know, if you want to learn electrical, you just really need to understand how certain things work, like on vehicles, relays and switches and O2 sensors and mass airflow sensors, and just like oil pressure switches. There's, you know, mainly there's really only two types of oil pressure switches on a vehicle. You either have a single wire, which is generally, I think for the most part they're grounded when they're satisfied. So like sometimes they'll be set at like 5 psi or 8 psi. If they're above that, they'll be grounded, and if it gets below that, they'll become open, so they won't be grounded, and they'll ground through the engine block. It'll just be one single wire. And then most of the time nowadays we have 3-wire oil pressure switches, which I prefer, because then we actually know if there's a problem or not. So like if the like if you have low oil pressure or something, you can just go in there and actually read it, you know, instead of seeing an on and off switch, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But you have the 3-wire switch. The 3-wire switch, you have a power. You have a power which would be generally a 5-volt reference, and then you'd have a ground for that, and then you'd have the signal wire to the generally the PCM, because that's what would monitor it, and it would just be a 5-volt signal back to it, and it'd just be, let's say at 40 psi it could be 2 volts, and at 20 psi it's at 2 volts or something stupid like that. It just depends on the how high it goes, the resolution of the sensor. It is quite simple. I did burp on camera. I just had dinner, and I kind of want to see as much as I can, get as much as I can done on this tonight. I would like to get this stuff put back together, and maybe the speakers mounted. That would be pretty nice before it gets too dark and we get 300-mile-an-hour winds. That doesn't work. But yeah, just understand electrical. It's quite simple. And I understand there's people that I don't understand everything. Every day I still learn something new. But there's a lot of people that are extremely smart that I watch, on YouTube. You have Eric O. He's got a picoscope. He's very, very intelligent. You have Ivan with Pine Hollow. He's very, very smart. And then you have Scanner Dannery. And there's a lot more too. There's that one guy from, I think, not ATS, something like that. He's made his own scan tool, I believe. But that scan tool that he has does like everything. It's crazy. Can graph the volume of the engine. It's nuts, and that's beyond my understanding. Which isn't good. I should understand that kind of stuff working in the automotive field, but once I get to that point, I need to learn that kind of stuff. But we all need to. There's something always to learn. All you can do is be like a sponge and absorb everything. That's what I try to do. And then I have some nice Tessa tape. We're going to wrap it in some Tessa tape just to make it look not like crap. And I'm wondering if that yellow wire actually went to something. Because I have it, I think, oh no, it wraps back around. So maybe not. And then I wanted something, I should have cut these a little different, but really wasn't that much room down there. So we're just going to cut this, just butt connect it back together and call it a day. And obviously we're using these heat shrink butt connectors. I could sit here and solder these all day, but there's really no reason to. As long as you get a really good crimp, and you'll see if I pull on them, make sure they're nice and tight, and I kind of pull on them kind of too hard, but I'd rather know now than find out later that I had a bad connection. And these are not the right tools to strip this kind of wire. I have some really nice Knipex at work that I bought. That I watched Mikey Pipes, his YouTube channel. He has some and he loves them. And I bought some and they work great for automotive. He uses them, I think, for, I don't know, if maybe like little tiny wire for a furnace or something. But they work amazing for automotive wire. As long as it's not really old. I definitely recommend them. And they were like $50-something on Amazon. And then you want to make sure when you crimp these, you crimp them on the correct side, and so you give them a little tug. So you don't want to blow through the plastic, but truthfully, sometimes it just happens. This thing kind of being, it's going to be wet a lot. You take it out in the mud or something, you kind of want it to be waterproof, but even they didn't install a waterproof relay. And the one I have at work is, but this will be just fine. I'm not going to take this thing in the mud. To be honest, this thing really doesn't get used like it should. It's more of a street queen. But, I've had it for, I think almost 2 years. It only has 108 miles on it. And most of those miles are on the street of Arizona. But it is, you know, take it out there, drive. You can drive it on the street, which is really nice. That's why I put the turn signals on, and it has, you know, it's fully street legal. It's got the DOT tires. It's registered and insured, so I don't have no trouble. But you know, it's just really beautiful out there. It's gonna be a little tight. That's why I didn't want to use. I wanted to use a new pigtail. So white is the feed from the switch, I'm assuming. The black, I pulled it out. It's probably a ground. Yeah, it is a ground. And then this is going to be the, you know, like even understanding relays. Relays are very simple. You know, you have a normally open and a normally closed side. And when it's energized, it turns off the normally closed side to normally open. They switch, essentially. And all it does is it takes a low voltage, you know, like a little tiny switch, and you can control high voltage with it. It's pretty cool. You know, because you don't want to be running, you know, say 15 amps through this little tiny wire, you know, or through, you don't want to have a big giant switch. You can run it through a relay. And it makes life a little bit easier. You can run smaller wire. You know, you just got to worry about the wire to the relay. You obviously got to have big wire going there, a big fuse for the load side of it. The control side can be a little dinky wire. Let's see. I wasn't really going to film this, but I figured I don't want to leave an open gap in the video that maybe half a person's going to watch it. I'm going to watch 10 seconds of it and shut it off. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I've already recorded, you know, the entire time of doing this, and I think I've already been putting this thing in for 4 hours. You know, I know I'm not going to do like a 4-hour video on it, but I'm going to figure something out. I don't want to do 10 parts of installing a stereo into a Can-Am, but that might end up having to happen. I'm kind of getting a little crazy with the torch right there. Okay. And then now, and I plugged them all back in the same, so they should work just fine. Okay. And even though I've been, you know, I think I kind of specialize in automotive electrical a little bit, you know, just the basic stuff. Every time I still have to look at the front of a relay and figure out which way it goes. Because you can read the front of it, you see 85 and 86, that's the control. And then the load side is 30, and normally closed is 87A. And then 87, when it's energized, it energizes 30 to 87. So when you give these two power, 85 and 86, you give power and ground across those two. It opens on 87A and closes on 87. So, you know, it's pretty cool. Relays are pretty cool. You know, it's a good, interesting idea. And, you know, it's just really cool how it can switch between them. Just an interesting thought. So down here, we got that. I would like to tape it up a little bit because it kind of looks like crap. Be down with the test of tape. Make it look like more crap, just crap with tape on it now. This test of tape's a little finicky because it's a little tough to work with. But definitely some really nice tape. And rats will eat through this test of tape. I found that on a Volkswagen, a Golf Sport wagon that the customer, she had something eat the wires to the map sensor. So I fixed them, and then she called back the next day and said that we didn't fix it because her car's still doing the same thing. And funny enough, it ate through the wires again, the same exact wires to the map sensor, in a different spot this time, but I wrapped the whole little tiny 6-inch sub harness in this tape, and they still ate through it. So I use that special, Honda makes a tape for their knock sensor harnesses, and that's what I usually use. You know, anytime I do some type of rodent damage repair, I always put that tape on there to hopefully prevent future damage. Whether it works or not, I'm not sure, but she hasn't come back. It's been quite a while. And actually, I think that was during Christmas. She gave us a Christmas card. And she was very thankful because we didn't charge her the second time to fix it because I felt bad. So that's why I used the tape the second time, just to make sure. It was in a really, really tight spot. So that's why I didn't want to use the tape. But from now on, everybody gets that tape. So I don't want comebacks. Comebacks suck. Wasn't really a comeback, but kinda. I just don't like people having to return. It's a waste of everybody's time. My time's valuable, their time's valuable, your time is valuable. It's a waste. Okay. You're gonna see how backwards I do this. And wrap it from the roll. I'll roll it on. Hopefully it's long enough. Yeah, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt nobody. This isn't a show car. It's just a malt crawler. So that stuff is complete. I would like to tape all that stuff. That's just a lot. I don't want to tape the whole harness. That might end up. The fun part, I think, is going to be trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all this wire. There's just so much wire up here. Man, it's just an absolute mess. It's like just nuts. So the amplifier, obviously, or not the amplifier. This is the control module for the smart lock. Let me pull this out first, so at least we can get that out of the way, and then we have an antenna. I don't think it's a good idea to run the antenna with the other wires. There's potential interference. I'm going to run it mostly inside the dash, so I don't really expect it to work too well, but I hope that it does kind of work. And I'll terminate it in a spot so that if I ever really want to add something, like an actual antenna to it, I can. And just tag into it and tap it up. And I'll leave the wiring exposed, not exposed, but I'll leave it easy to access for the subwoofer, so that I'm going to call Rockford Fosgate. They're probably not open tomorrow, but I'll call them on Monday and ask them if that's normal. I'd imagine not, but who really knows? And I think I left a big mess down here. What I think we should do, I think I'm going to pull the wiring down through here. Okay, that's, I mean, we have like this is excessive. I don't want to leave a ton of wire up here. We have that. We have a ton of other wire up here. That one, is that the only one? I think so. I think so. Okay. I'm not even sure where to start. I'm having a difficult time absorbing all this wiring. It's like, I'm not generally scared of wire. I'm just like in awe of how much there is. See, that is awesome. Milwaukee for the win. So we can, I'm gonna have to unplug it from the speaker anyways. So we're gonna unplug that. Maybe if I can get it unplugged. God, these are some good connections. Oh, I think we're unplugging it down here. And I can always plug it in from underneath. Then I want to make sure, I should probably get a lip hooked up and make sure that the lips work. Because that's some of the wiring that I was just fixing. That I'm also, maybe you can understand what I'm saying in my gibberish. Okay, so that's out of the question. So maybe we should start down here. Oh my goodness, there's a ton of wire. This is like, amplifier. That's what it's like. Okay. Well, that doesn't look too bad. I'll show you guys that later. I just want to get it secured up so I have an idea of where we're going to be at. And I'm going to leave sharp, nice, pokey zip ties for the next time I have to work on this thing, because I don't have my nice zip tie cutters. God, just wire everywhere. It's like making my OCD go nuts. And I'll put this high so that hopefully if this thing ever does get some water, it doesn't get in this module, because I don't think this module is going to be very happy to have water in it. I'm just going to get everything zip tied together real quick. I want to zip tie it. Okay, here's the antenna. I gotta keep in mind. Yeah, see, that's kind of a little... Okay. No, that's going in there too. I still gotta take all those boxes to work, because our trash comes Monday. I don't have enough room in my trash can for all that stuff. If I can, might be able to mount that there. There is another module down here. I would kind of want to mount them nicely-ish, not just freewheeling it, This module probably wouldn't be a good idea to mount next to the satellite radio module. So it's Bluetooth. This is gonna be Bluetooth, and this is going to be satellite, obviously. That might not be such a great idea. We're just gonna try to make it look as good as we can. If I can find a hole to run a zip tie through, it doesn't feel like the holes go all the way through. I feel like it's backed by something. So we might just zip tie that to the harness. Maybe to the back of the harness. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think I already thought of that. Yeah, so we'll just do it like this. No, I'll just cut that other zip tie out. That works. So it's in the back of the satellite radio module. They have little guides for it. That makes it. That's pretty cool. I think my truck. I have the same module in my truck, I think. So I think it had that same little holes. It had the 200 or 300. I did it so long ago I don't remember. There's a lot of stuff going on under here. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. So I think this is pretty much all the craziness. This is for the little gauge. But the amplifier actually has a problem, because it is buried in that connector. It's buried right here. I'm betting you I'm going to have to switch the polarity of it. I'm gonna have to, because it's just not right. That kind of sucks. Yeah, that's a little scary. It doesn't say on the connector, but on this it says they're definitely backwards. It says negative for the red and black for the positive, which that's not correct. Let's see, maybe we should Google it and see real quick. So there's not much info on this system. So I think I'm going to not put all this back together. I'm just going to zip tie it nice. We'll get it all buttoned up, and then we'll focus on everything else. And I'll call them Monday and get that figured out. Because I don't think that's right, but I don't want to, maybe they know something I don't. I really hate to change it and then say, oh no, that's the way it's supposed to be, and I doubt it, but I don't want to take that chance. Figure we can get this done, get all the wiring set, get the antenna put in, and then start on the tower speakers in the back. Kind of a pain, I think, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to move my shocks around. And right here, I think I have extra wire from my little gauge. The problem is, how much extra wire now? Looks like I had it wrapped twice, so we're just going to stay with that same leaf, and I'll try to keep these wires away from those studs. Hopefully these reach. I didn't think about that, but they might not now because everything's shifted down. It'd just be my luck. It's looking a little bit better. It's not perfect. There's still a lot going on, but it's getting there. That's zip tied there. I think I'm gonna ground this, zip tie these the amplifier input wires up. And it's weird because it doesn't have anything that connects to the sub input, and that's why I was thinking maybe I was missing something else. But I switched this over. There's a switch in the, if you take this cover off the amp, not the cover, but if you take the connector off the side where all the inputs are, you can switch it from 2-channel to 4-channel. And I think I screwed it up when I did that, because when I put it in 4-channel, the amplifier needs to see the sub as a separate input. The 2-channel uses the rear input as a sub input. So once I switch it back, it seems to work. So I'm just gonna leave it. You know, that's the way it's supposed to be. So that should be fine. Hopefully this is. There's like so many zip ties. And I'll bring that cluster up right now to keep it from getting damaged. So I'll cut that wire. I thought it was a zip tie. We can take this one out. Don't need 50 zip ties. And I know. At least I have to work on it. No one else is going to work on this machine. You know, unless it's something for the insurance company, for, you know, it gets in a collision or something, but it's always going to be me. I don't let anybody really mess with my stuff. Unless it's something that has to be done by somebody else. Like I just took my car into the dealer to have them perform a recall and put new tires on it, and that was an absolute disaster. They just, like, no, I never even got a hold of the service writer. I never even spoke to her the 2 days that it was there. She would never return my call. They said, oh no, we tried calling you multiple times. It's a lie. You know, it's like, I understand you're busy, but at least just tell me what's going on and say, oh, we're too busy right now. Okay. Yeah, but she came up and lied to me. She's like, we tried calling you. Told her, no, you didn't. You know, my phone works. I know we had an outage. I think it was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday for Verizon, but I didn't experience any issues. And I've actually been using my phone more this week than I have in a very long time. So I'm like, no, you're lying. You know, I told them she was lying, and she didn't like that too much. I really don't care. I just don't appreciate being lied to. You know, that's not cool. And we do a lot of business with that dealership, and yeah, it's okay. It is what it is. They have newer staff in there, and I'm not too fond of them. And the guy that we bought the car from, we've been dealing with him my family's been dealing with him for a very long time. And he says it's, you know, just the service writers, they're not very good, which sucks. They used to have really good ones there. Definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. But what are you gonna do? We don't really need the car, but I just want to know what's going on. It's just a major lack of communication. I wasn't rushing or bugging. I'm in the automotive industry, and I understand. Especially right now, it's stuff is an absolute nightmare. But I already ordered my tires. I ordered the tires for them and everything. So all they had to do is put the tires on, balance the tire, mount the tires, balance them, do an alignment, and then they had to perform a recall, check the seatbelt latch, and they looked at it, said it was fine. And what else? There was something else too. Do the 10,000 mile service, it's just cabin air filter. That's all they had to do, cabin air filter, and that's it. And I'm like, well, if it takes a week, just tell me. I'm not here to, I understand. Okay. These are gonna have to be extended. I already know that. That sucks. So next, this stuff is pretty much, it still looks like a mess, but we'll go over there now and start messing with that wiring. We'll get it all straight. And then we'll do the entire, this is what it's looking like so far. It still looks like a mess, but see that wiring over there? We'll fix that right now. And then we'll start getting the rear towers all set up. And I still have the 50 million boxes. That light's pretty cool. I forgot it had a magnet on it when I bought it. I figure we'll get all the wiring pulled back in. The amp wires is pretty stout. Gonna tug all this. We'll keep this out because I gotta re-zip tie this. This is what I did. I tried to make it nice and clean, and I try to leave connectors in there, in case I ever need to take it apart. It's easy. And I hate that it wrapped around like that. It looks like crap, but it's gonna stay that way. You guys are just looking at the floor too. It's cool. I just don't really have a good place with this camera. Maybe back here. Hopefully that's a decent view. So I got all those straight. The wires are still, they're kind of wrapped around in this, weird little fashion, but it'll be fine. They're not going nowhere. And this, we're just gonna wrap like that. We'll wrap it around wire or a loom, and just zip tie it up to it. And get the wires in the zip tie. That's the whole point of the zip tie. I used to have a fuse. The fuse is a little dangly, but I like to leave it loose in case I need to access it. It gives me some wiggle room. And I know it's going to be a sharp, it's going to be a cutter, but it is what it is. Okay. Hopefully that holds so the door's not squeaking the entire time. And also, I still have to pull the center console out too. Yeah, see that? So. These, I kind of want them good. I mean, this is the drive shaft in here, but I still want them nice and tight. I don't want these wires going anywhere. I don't know where I'm going to put the excess, though. There's kind of really not a lot of room, and there's kind of a lot of excess. Yeah, nice and snug. Just rearrange around a little bit. My crappy camera work. And zip tying over another zip tie. That's okay. Okay. So now we're gonna have to get these cans out of here. These speakers are kind of weird. The connections are a little interesting to me because I'll show you right here. They have one connection right there, and then there's another one in the back. It's very weird. So I was like, how do you plug this? I guess it comes off now. I was like, how am I going to get that in there with a rubber grommet? But apparently, I need to get the plugs in the back. I don't know, we'll find out when we go to actually install them. I think we're going to be doing them next. We'll get the other ones in. Crazy speakers. Okay. Those wire. These aren't even labeled. That sucks. I thought they were labeled on the ends. That's not good. Like a zombie. Give me brain. We'll have to turn the stereo on. Figure out which side's what. Figure out what channel. I don't want to. I can always switch them up there, but it'd be easier to figure it out now. So we probably should start mounting those speakers before we get too ahead of ourselves. So this is the part that I'm dreading because I don't know how I'm going to do this. It shows, I'm just going to set you guys right here. You can see my back and everything. Set you right on top of these batteries. So we have a ton of stuff. That's pretty cool. Okay. So I know, excuse the mess. This bench is just crazy right now with stuff. I understand. This is just how it is right now. So it comes with these, which these actually go into the bottom of the speaker. I hate trashing. Got like 50 billion zip ties. But I got some good ones. If I don't use them, I'm gonna take them to work. Those would be really nice to have for customers' vehicles, you know. So using this regular, I should be using a regular zip tie instead of using all mine. I don't know what I'm thinking. Well, actually, I know what I'm not. I'm not thinking at all. I'll just put them down here. Get them out of the way. I hate clutter. Too much clutter. And then these are for this. They were speakers as well. Here's some speaker insulation stuff. And we're special. We're men. We don't need that stuff. We just figured out the hard way and then end up having to look at it when we screw it up. So I have these two. Here's the other kit. And these right here for 2.5 to 3 inch bar use. The $1 billion question is, what size is this bar? Oh, comes with multiples. Crap. I probably shouldn't be tearing them open. Like a caveman. We're taking a pause in a few minutes. So let's figure out what's going on first. There's more crap. More freaking. I shouldn't say crap. I like these zip ties. I don't use them on mine, so I can use them on customers. So apparently there's 2 bags. That's why you always try to pay attention. Here comes the wind. Don't be like me. I think we're gonna be 2.5. I'm pretty sure. This tube doesn't look that big. Because what would that really be? 2.5 to 3? Because we'll probably have to move those. Yeah, these ones will be fine, I think. These ones are gonna be too thin. Maybe not. I might have to use these. I'm not sure what to do with these shocks though, or with the reservoirs. Because I think the speakers are supposed to go inside, kind of where those are. Maybe can I flip the shocks? I think I can flip the shocks up. Might just have to do that. Because I don't know what else to do with those things. It's kind of out of my area of expertise. I think that's what they showed in the video, flipping the shocks. Small size is a 7, maybe that's not good. Those look like a 6. And I really don't want to break my drill doing it that way, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, eh? Here's a nice little cheap kit. Nope, not a 6, it's a 5. Why'd you be standard? Oh, my hands. Should come in before I get yelled at. Okay, so it's a 5mm Allen. So we'll return and okay, so now I'm gonna probably flip the shock reservoir up so that hopefully the speaker will fit. We'll just see what happens. Well, I said it like that. Really not too sure. And the cans, these speakers are just massive. So I'm really not too sure what to expect. And then so we're gonna first do, comes with a special tool as well. They're special torques. They're like in the automotive, it's just they're just security torques. But look how massive these things are. They're as big as my big head. It's crazy. At least you can kind of turn them whenever you want, but see, the problem is this hose is in the way. Kind of sucks. I mean, we can maybe put them back. I just want to scratch my cage. See, that's not going to make a lick of a difference. You kind of, I guess you want it to kind of sit like that. See that reservoir hose is in the way of the shock. I mean, you don't want to pinch that hose. Let's see. I wonder if I mount it down here. I wonder if that will make a difference. I'm not sure if it's going to, but try not to scratch this thing. Look at the foam in there. We can mount them. I don't know if you're supposed to leave them up. Yeah, I don't think that speaker's gonna fit anyways like that. I mean, that I can make it fit, but The hose is still in the way. What if I can... I can't even put it like that. I wonder if these reservoirs have to be mounted up. Unless we just go a little crazy. Maybe go like this. Alright, I'm blocking it on the outside of the cage. That's probably as good as it's gonna get, maybe. Like, it's a little bit natural right there. Likes it right there. I mean, I can put it like that. Not gonna hurt it. Try not to scratch it too much. Speakers are just massive. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. But what I'm thinking, what kind of crack it's smoking. The only way it's really gonna fit is unless I put it. I can't imagine the reservoir having to sit like that. Because if we could put like, it just sucks because I can't get around the tube. I have to put it like right here. I guess what we can do is mount the speaker and then do the shock after. That's probably the only way I'm gonna be able to figure this out. I don't think we're near that long of screws. Even though I'm using the thicker one. Let me just prepare the hardware. We'll see what happens. We'll just try. That's kind of... Okay. Tighten evenly, 8.5 foot-pounds max. Well, didn't bring the torque wrench, so we're gonna have to use my elbow at the torqueometer. Here's the speakers. Try this again. That's not very fun to put on. I think the trick is put the bracket on first. You loosen that, you pop this out, then you put this on. I think we're supposed to put the bracket on first. That would maybe yield better results. Maybe? This kind of fits loose in that. I just want to get it set on. Wish it would have given me a socket. Oh, this one doesn't want to go on because it's broken. I was like, well, why does it fit like crap? That's crazy. I was wondering why it wasn't going all too smooth. Look at the screw. It's all blown apart. It's like when they put it together. See how it's cracked and like cut? I was like, why am I having such a hard time? So, I wonder how the long screw's gonna work. I don't want to hit the speaker. Let's see how. Wow. Fair's like a few, maybe like, I don't know how far. It's quite far away, and I can hear they're having a muster truck show tonight, and I can hear the muster trucks from here. I gotta be a good at least 5 miles away. It's pretty crazy. So we're gonna steal the small screw out of the other one because I'm tired of playing games with that. I want to set this on. This is kind of tight. Looks like I can go quite a bit forward more. Speaker's so heavy. It's gonna start tipping that. It's nuts. This thing is massive. It's kind of staying now. So I'm thinking that's where we're going with it. I'm thinking so. That's kind of crazy. Feel that sticker, it says it goes 360 degrees. I would like it to be straight. The only thing I don't like is it takes up quite a bit of room back here. Because I wanted to put my spare tire back here eventually, but that looks like that might be a thing of the past. Because I don't see that happening now. I'm gonna scratch my car. Fine. I said 8.5 foot-pounds on. I should probably take that to heart. That feels about 8.5-ish. That's nuts. Pretty cool. Now, I don't know where the hell this is going to go. Maybe, just maybe. Hate that. I can fit it like right there. It's crazy. I hate it fitting like crap. I mean, I might have to sit like that. Because I'm not too sure how else to put it. Yanky. Just turning the front and the back. I think the front turns too. No, maybe not. So I guess maybe I have to unbolt it and turn the whole thing just so it says Fosgate down. Yeah, I guess so. We'll deal with that later. I just want to get an idea where these are going to sit. I can put them on the outside. I guess maybe like right there, but it'll touch the car. I won't rub it on the car. At least they're powder coated. I hate that right there. Can that go a little bit more forward? Nah, kinda. I only have a little bit of room right there. I don't want to start rubbing into the frame. I think that's where that's gonna have to go, and then the shock is just gonna have to fit. But I'm gonna look it up and see if I can mount that upside down. Let's, oh, so it's a shock upside down. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be ideal. So I think we might just have to go with this. I mean, I just don't want to put too much tension on that. That'd be kind of cool. It won't fit though. Thinking that's how we're gonna go. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to tighten. The bolts are gonna be on the inside, but I want to keep this thing pointing up. If I can keep it off the car, I'll be happy. I think that's the way it is. You know, you don't really get too many options. This cage has just been a nightmare. Trying to figure out ways to mount everything is just nuts. We can take the speaker off. We can probably pop the speaker out. Massive. my trigger got stuck on the hose. I'm gonna snug them up. I don't want to break them. Okay. Now the speaker. Okay. Doesn't fit that bad. Does that look straight up there? Okay, that sucker's tight. It's a little. That's pretty tight. Okay, so this side's pretty much good. I want to go over the other mounts for it. Well, no, I don't. What am I doing? We need to check the mounts real quick. The Allens, I think I have them over there still. Of course. Which was the one I'm using, so I'll put it back. And that's what, 5? It's my little cheesy cobalt kit. Look, took 20 minutes just to figure out where we're at. This guy likes to race up and down the street. Pretty tight. That one kind of bit a little funky. Driving slow today. Crazy. Must know I'm filming. Usually flies up and down the street all day. That was tight. Now I gotta get rid of all that trash tomorrow. Okay, that's tight, and I knew I was looking for the right piece. There's a blocker cover for the back of the speaker. I don't know what I did with it. I think this is one of... No, this isn't it, is it? No. Maybe. This might work. It just covers the hole for the bolt. So this side's pretty much done. It's not perfect, but I would like to put something here so it's not rubbing in the cage all the time. The other side's gonna be a pain because there's no room over there. But maybe we can wire it up. Let's see if we can figure out what side is what, at least. We're gonna need the right side. I don't know what's up with these rubber pieces. It's cool. So, I think that's something. A lot of electrical noise. So I'm going to turn it on to try to... Okay, so it's not that one, it's the other one. This is the left.